Damn, I don't know what the hell happened there, but hopefully you guys are with us on this new link. All of a sudden, StreamYard stopped trying to stream, so it wasn't their yard. We're back up and running. It looks like now. I don't know what the dealio was there, but just putting over. Obviously, things in LA are hot, and there's plenty of political discourse and liberal and conservative views jumping back and forth. So it's going to be a long, hot summer. What happens when you have Soros funded riots against the system? We saw it with BLM, we've seen it with Free Palestine. But if these people really wanted to make an impact and really create unity, is you'd be waving the American flag, saying I'm proud and I want to be here, and showing that you want to be here, as opposed to coming across illegally and then going nuts when shit isn't going your way because you broke the rules. So do I have empathy for families that are being broken up and that they can target dads at the Home Depot in the morning? Yeah, that's a heartbreaker when there's probably Chinese spies, Islamic terrorists, and cartel people that they should be focusing on. But it is an illegal thing, and you have to set a precedent, and it's not going to be pretty. But when states like California try and go against the grain of what has been voted for, you're going to kicking and screaming. You're going to have to do it. And then you put behind that liberal Soros money. And here we are with the military about to crack down on LA every which way but loose. And I have a lot of actor friends that relocated to LA thinking they were going to get super famous, because that was what we were told was the move after that. And then LA fell to pieces, and now they live in a 1-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom apartment that's way overpriced.
I say God paying who knows what.
Yeah. And they never got their Comedy Central spot because they didn't start a podcast or go and do stand-up or come up with any sketch show. They were just waiting for Amy Poehler will put me in a sitcom. And then it didn't happen. Now they're ones posting online. The rib of that too is most of them are Jewish, thinking they were going to use that. And then they want to be liberal, but they'll never post anything pro-Palestine because that would go against the Zionists that actually run Hollywood.
The Hollywood overlords.
Yeah. But now I see them step up for the American dream for the Latinos, but they're not out there protesting. They're just fucking Facebook heroes. And it sucks because a lot of these were my close friends and some mentors during my Chicago comedy time. But to me, that goes to show you, when you follow these liberal, paid for by X amount of fucking super Dems, and it's all dressed up as the humanity of man. Dude, let me put it this way. Last week, they were fucking trying to scratch and set fucking Tesla trucks on fire. 2 days ago, they're going, I love Tesla again. If you can't see the mind control that's going on with you in that respect, being based on how the wind blows on politics, you really need to take some self-assessment and say, who the fuck am I? What do I really believe in? And how am I being manipulated by these outside forces that make me feel like I'm anti-establishment? But the reality is you're nothing more than a castaway from the establishment anytime they're done with you doing what they want to. So LA is eating a lot of shit because of its phoniness. And a lot of them are having to deal with that right now. And not like I weep for Beverly Hills or anything, but they want to destroy it so Palantir can come in and take over and rebuild. It's all part of the system to use fear and loathing as the method for destruction, so they problem, reaction, solution, so they can put into power what they want. And Governor Newsom and the mayor, remember when she went to fucking Ghana, go to O'Keefe Media right now and see the stooge with her saying how she's nothing more than what they wanted her to do from a Biden administration. This is all a big op to bring down America, and they'll frame it up 100 different ways. Even Drudge Report, that used to be down the middle when Trump first got elected, was sold in 2019, and they still use the name. And it's nothing more than a psyop now for liberal headlines and whatever they try to get. Remember when it was Taco was the fucking hot thing 2 weeks ago, didn't get over, cringy meme, and now that's out of the fucking news. Like, it's so blatant with the liberals of who runs what and and they think that they're smart and playing the fucking haha gotcha game with a meme. They're absolutely in their own wrestling bubble. My point being, all the way back to wrestling, we just said we love when worlds collide. The Mexican culture got a big rub. And what are we going to do to use our art form to pay off the heat in the ring? JBL's down there in Mexico doing, border wars and slamming on them and riding that line of, distastefulness and being the voice of, Texas, never take our guns, and Americana and the Alamo, or
Texas pride, baby.
Yeah. However far it goes back. Well, we can use our art form to alleviate some of those tensions. But first, we have to actually put even more tension in the product. And that's a question for the creative team there is, do we actually want our product that is, under the world microscope right now to use that? Or do we just want to stay with, let's keep it light. Iguana Man is selling. We don't need an ice character. We don't need a turncoat. I disagree with, not me personally. It's not that I know that they're doing it or not doing it. With my gimmick, I say lean into it, because for 18 years, I felt that on the pop every night of that 9/11 PTSD getting paid off. And there was never another dragon bigger than me that I had to be pulled to the babyface side to go slay. However, with this Latino pride, Latinx, whatever you want to call it,
we talked about that, how you unite is creating a villain that is so over the top that it has to bring everybody together. And even the most heinous of individuals can come in to save the day.
Exactly. Or the fact that you have to have a battle that is so brutal in the ring and that the hate is there that you eventually have to respect your enemy. In cartoons and Looney Tunes in the 40s and 50s, you would see Tojo and the rest of the Japanese with big buck teeth and fucking, doing the,
miso soy.
Right? Like all that shit. And it pops me. I laugh at it because that's what's been ingrained in my system. However, if you ask any World War II veteran, and you're like, oh, you kicked the shit out of all those Japs over there, those little fucking da-da-da, and they won't say that. They'll say the Japanese that I know is fucking diehard, will not stop, willing to fly a plane into a ship.
There was only two ways to stop them, and that was freaking 2 atomic bombs.
Yeah, it will run into a machine gun fire with a sword if you tell them to, because they believe in honor and country. That's a formidable enemy, right? So it's how we shape the vision of them as opposed to propaganda. And you could start with propaganda, but you end with respect. Even Mortal Kombat, maybe 2, ended with friendshipalities. But, I threw this spear, get over here, through your chest. But fucking at the end, we
cool.
Yeah, I respect you for what you did, So, and it's just a part of wrestling that we don't use because we're so worried about the public view. But in 1980s, that's what made Hogan a megastar, was the Cold War. Here comes Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. We go into it. But then in our woke era, our millennial era, when the London bombings happen and fucking 9/11 has happened and you have Muhammad Hassan, we fucking bend to the will of the networks, and we don't fucking go. And who runs the networks and who doesn't like Arabs? So there's all this underlying premise of why they didn't do it, as opposed to doing it for the right reasons, which would have been paying off heat, PTSD, and stress in the ring.
We talked about this a little bit last week. We briefly touched on it. But again, in wrestling, it's a movie, but it's coming at you in these 3-minute intervals each and every week. It takes a little longer to play out, but there is a point to get to a story. I asked you this last week. Someone's got to have enough balls and the vision and be articulate enough to lay this out to the network so they don't freak out immedially that 1 week.
Why? The networks are showing.
I know, but
what's going on in LA is their biggest ratings. That's what people are tuning in to see.
But something in wrestling, when that happens, it freaks them the hell out. That's their biggest ratings.
Why?
But they're not understanding that.
Wrestling is phony.
I get
Wrestling
that.
is phony.
I know, but so like when you guys were working with the networks, did you find yourself having to explain that to them? Hey, this is a long term, story that's going to play out
Yes.
with an ending. Okay. So they're not like oblivious to this with wrestling, but that's how they make us when they yank something, it's like, oh, the networks, the sponsors. Well, why aren't we having
what is
these
that?
conversations
That's
with
just
them?
passing the heat. That's just passing the heat.
Okay. That's what I was curious with, how that works from an inside standpoint.
And that's the other part of bending of the networks. And I've said this, most network vice presidents are not smart. They were former assistants to somebody else who failed upwards, and fucking then they took that spot, and because they got a title of VP, now they were stupid yesterday getting coffee and having to go get my car and dry cleaning, but today they know everything about programming and fucking show development. No, they don't. That is why LA is a lie. LA is built on bullshit and built on stupid people who will go, oh, what are we doing this week? Oh, this week it's Latino Pride, where before it was Black Lives Matter. Apparently either all the black stuff got solved or Black Lives don't matter anymore, right? Like, which one is it? Nope, it's just on to the next fucking stupid millennial little bleeding heart liberal cause that you can put out a tweet about and act like you're fucking great because you got 2,000 likes on it. That's not changing anything. That's self-serving bullshit. And that's, I'd say 60 to 70% of the people in those positions are that description. They're not true creatives. They never made anything. They've never trained to be that. They don't have a degree in this. They failed upwards from fucking coffee getters, bro. So like, that's who you got to explain it to. It should be easy enough to work those people or make them feel like, yeah, I'm going to do this story. And when we pay it off, then I'll be network president because I alleviated, but they don't want to rock the boat. They're just waiting until the next owner of something comes in and they get bumped up the fucking ladder because they were an ass kiss who fucking did what they were told from whoever's really cutting the paycheck on high, instead of serving the art, serving the people, and serving the storyline.
And meanwhile, during this whole thing, the LGBTQ, they're like, hey, assholes, this is our month. Hispanic month is not till September, middle of September. Pay attention to us.
Yeah. And I just think a guy like LA Knight could fucking, if you're named LA, I'm putting him in the storyline, and I'm fucking having a Latino that's a top guy that has that Latin pride, whether it's Alberto Del Rio or somebody, or even Rey Mysterio, to bring him in to do that. You know what I mean? Or Rey's such a babyface with LA Knight to show white America and Latin America come together for an outside force, versus Legado del Fantasma or something.
Internally, there was some reports that, as fans noticed, and it was being chalked up, kind of people joking early on for Money in the Bank, arena not so filled, but that is the running joke with LA. The fans show up a little late, but there have been reports though that all this commotion did make it a little difficult for fans to get from one arena to the other, or just getting in for Money in the Bank. With everything,
well, that's half the fun. You leave one wrestling show, you can either be pepper sprayed or hit with a piece of cinder block in the head, and if you made it, now aren't you more grateful for that?
It's that Mortal Kombat video game you were just talking about.
It's what it comes to, bro.
It's
Could you imagine
Gorilla? It's the real battle of Los Angeles, just getting from show to show.
You want to freak out ice? Have everybody show up in fucking Pentagon masks. The whole fucking place is out, and everyone's hitting hurricanranas on fucking guys on the concrete and shit. Dude, if you're ice and you're fucking all strapped up in your shit, and 20,000 people are coming down on you in lucha masks, bro, like that's newsworthy for epic times, So again, the fact that these companies will put this on their news, because make no mistake about it, 5 companies own all of media, so it's an illusion of choice. And if you think that each one of them is separate, then wake the fuck up. If that is their big ratings draw, why the fuck wouldn't you want it on your wrestling that is tanking every week?
Right?
Like, it doesn't make any sense on the upper echelon level of, hey, we'll play all this and scare people at home, but don't do it in the phony theater wrestling.
We need that just be just moves and all this here. Hey, here's an interesting Roman Askey 316 mentioned this, and it's a little bit, it's not till 2028, but in a bigger picture here with a draw like the Olympics, how does this look for the Olympic Committee? Is this part of the propaganda game? Do we put a twist?
Romanowski 316, very great point. But let me put it on some conspiracy horseman shit.
Oh, here we go. Put them conspiracy horns on.
What do people want? What do they need? What LA doesn't have? A lot of land, a lot of places to set up an Olympic village. So do we manufacture riots to drive down prices and fucking ruin buildings that can then be destroyed?
Village was built on the site of this historic, movement
LA
where they rose up and it burnt down, and we rebuilt it.
And they get it at a cheap price because there is no cheap property in LA until you drive it down. So what if this riot is just a kickoff where they're squaring it out? I'd like to see where the Olympic Village is, the plans. I don't know this. This is just me spitballing, and where things are going on right now. And you keep them contained in there and let the fucking Soros people fucking destroy that area, drive down the property. It's going to cost us easily $60 billion to rebuild this part of LA. You know, it would be easier. Let's just bulldoze it and we'll put the Olympic Village here. Like, you're talking about trillions of dollars, and you think that they really give a fuck about people's lives and immigrants. We're all pawns in this fucking chess game of fear and loathing, and they're cashing in on both sides. And when you know that, I look at the bigger picture, and that's what I see in Romanowski 316. That's a great point that you put up there, but I don't think they'll lose the Olympic Games. I would say this is part of a greater fucking plan, bro. Part of a greater plan.
I think that, you throw it out there, man. A bigger picture here, something bigger at play, bigger cards in that deck.
And at the same time, even if you are a fucking blue-haired, androgynous, pronoun, whatever, dude, and you were born in this country, guess what? We live in the same time and in a very small thing where we think everything's so important. And I just wish humanity would see each other for that more than they will. Like, you're on that side of the border, your skin's brown, free Palestine. And they're doing it in the middle of the town that is run by Zionists, but they think that burning down a cop car is the way to go when you could actually get to the decision makers that are doing that kind of shit. It just doesn't stop, bro, of how easily people are worked and wound up into violence over whatever the flavor of the month minority cause is.
Interesting insight. A good question there, man. And to look at what's going on in LA, perfect setting, though, for them putting money in their bank.
Yeah.
So I hate when we get to the real level shit. Now we got to go back to talk pro wrestling.
Well, let's talk LA Knight, man, because the guy is a fucking got money on him, no doubt about it. Yeah. And everyone like, he should have won. Dude. Here's how Triple H looks at LA Knight, and he was pretty rough with this on Friday. And the guy's made it farther than I did. I've been watching him since he was Eli Drake, and he filled in for Mr. Anderson in Impact when they were doing the dummy. And fucking that's when he first started getting over.
Cut his teeth right here in good old Cincinnati at the Heartland Wrestling Association is Rick Dick. I've been watching him. I've been watching him since I was in high school.
And a A+ fucking He-Man body, looks like a WWE superstar should. And good artists create, great artists steal and make it their own. He is stealing directly from Stone Cold mainly, with a little rock and a little Flair mixed in. The is the what. Like, and he was even having to bait them on SmackDown because he wanted him to do the yeet or the what after his every sentence. So he'd say something and go, yeah, and fucking do it. Now we don't look like I know who my character is. I know who I am. And believe me, if I see that and I'm going, Jesus Christ, he's just doing Stone Cold's monologue verbatim and switching 2 words. But the argument is fucking Stone Cold #1 merch seller for decades, right? And getting that over, and LA Knight getting shots because of it. Yeah. But Triple H, Shawn, whoever, look at that and go, he's just ripping off Austin. We really can't put him over because he doesn't know who he is. What are we just going to do? Austin rips in the main event, then they're really going to come for his throat on that shit. Deuce, come for my throat. Write that down on the grocery list. But fucking, that I think that's what's really holding him back, that it got him to the dance ripping off from those three legends, but it also puts the ceiling for him lower because he's not original, he's not doing it, and it's pretty easy to see. And if you even have this much against you where people go, he's just a fucking Stone Cold knockoff in the back, they're gonna fucking not put you up to that point. They'll give you 50 other excuses. Jesus Christ, I mean, we've talked about Cross on every show. You know what I mean? Like, if that ain't proof positive of what's going on, and then this guy who is outspoken, who won't be worked by them, that's another thing. He's a man of integrity backstage. You know, that'll cut your throat quicker than anything. So all the pieces are there. I just wish that he would morph away from taking from those guys, use their energy. And good artists create great artists, still make it their own. It's fine to do impersonations of The Rock. I do a good Vince McMahon. You don't see Vince in Ben Hameen, right? You don't, they're separate, you know, of to what that is. And when I embody Vince, I take from that power from him, the swagger and everything, the eye movements, and the deep guttural. Ben Hameen isn't that, and he needs to take from them, find what that energy is, and then you let it morph. Okay, I can embody that energy, but I let it morph into my own thing. Like it lets you. I've seen performers that may be a dark character, a very straight man character, and they don't know how to exude a lot of charisma. Then you tell them, all right, I want you to do that same thing you did, but how would The Rock do it? And then they start having fun and they loosen up and their whole body language changes. And I go, stop right there before you say a goddamn word. What did you just do with your body? And they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I go, you see how you went from this to fucking like your arm never goes above your head when you're playing your other character. And now when you let go and you have to think about becoming The Rock, you're
start using those mannerisms and the body language.
And what does that mean to you? Now I just freed you up from your own shackles as an acting coach. Yeah, dude, I do that. Absolutely. When somebody's super tight, like their arms don't move or they're holding tension, I go up, grab their hands, and I do spaghetti arms with them, get their arms flapping out the side. Yeah, dude, because they want to please me as a coach in their promo so badly that they're trying, and it's really crippling them. And when you see Becky or whoever else go over and get on the rope and talk over the rope, that's them anchoring themselves because their nervous energy is coming out. Or when you see pacing back and forth, 3 steps this way, 3 steps that way, come back to the center. That's because you're looking for the words. And in that promo on Friday night, that was what LA Knight was doing too, where he ran down, I like this guy, but what about that? How do we feel about him? You know, like we got to do a fucking Twitter poll in the middle of our promo, and he's talking about the other guys in the match. Who should he be talking about?
Should we talk about him?
LA
He's the
Knight.
megastar. He's the megastar.
Yeah. It's his
not taking a fan poll for everybody else, but even
right.
when we were to chat, I was like, Jesus, man, I was like, this is something wrong. You know, what is
to me that felt like they didn't even know who they wanted to put over, so they sent him out to go do a pop test on dropping guys' names, as opposed to this is LA Knight's Money in the Bank, dummy. Yeah, you know what I mean, and fucking really put it over.
It doesn't matter who else. I know it's
that's your 2 minutes
thing, but.
Yeah, Al Snow would say that's your 2-minute infomercial to get yourself over, your business over, your brand over, and who you are. And he talked about everybody else but himself. I'm sorry, bro. That's not correct. You're not going to get to that top level if you don't understand how to get yourself over. I'm not saying he doesn't. He probably was being a good soldier and doing what incompetent creatives told him to. But that was not what it should have been. And then when he lost, they would have been even more irate, wanting him to be a champ. Instead, he didn't get himself over before the match how he should have.
How do you feel overall? And this is another thing with it. I've seen so many people saying, you know, that LA Knight, he needed this win. Seth Rollins didn't need this win.
Yeah.
For me, especially, okay, one, I'm not a big fan of a babyface carrying that briefcase. It doesn't seem the path of the righteous for for a babyface. Maybe LA Knight falls into that anti-hero character that would take an advantage of like that. But overall, the case to me shouldn't be making the individual just like a title. The individual should be making the championship itself or the prop. I mean, the case should be about a plot device and moving a story. And the only one that made clear sense to me was Seth Rollins, which is the right choice to make him as the winner.
Well, there's something to be said with that. And This Ain't Texas says, didn't LA Knight and Kevin Nash have Twitter beef? Wouldn't that affect him with Triple Game and Click people? Absolutely. That's how petty people are, even at the top in this shit.
That's one of those, we forgot about, here's a phone call from Kevin Nash to remind somebody.
No, dude, trust me, they never forget. They're elephants with that shit. They never forget, never forgive. And they're like, let's get him close only to fucking pull it away from him again and then drive him a little nuts. And then we'll see if he sells for it and has a breakdown. And then we got him game. Yeah. You know, like that shit's been going on since fucking Barnum and Bailey days for some reason. You know, with him not winning, I don't know. It wasn't in his storyline. There was no real stakes for him to win. Regardless of everything else we said, he just wasn't built to that point. And maybe that's
a
reason why.
He has, like it or not, he has that glass ceiling. They know he is over. They can plug him in when they want, but they can pull him back to mess with him.
Because there's nothing that he's doing that's original, that is a money maker and seller that people are really getting behind. And it's just the Pavlovian call and response. When it comes to say, here's what I say with who won the women's IC title? Fucking Becky Lynch. Who wins the Money in the Bank? And even WWE, now he's got the power. Does he? Why? Because he goes and cash in to win a phony title? That doesn't mean power. And I hate to even have to reference this, but William Alcia posted it in the Hami Media discussion. Oh boy. Group. And it was a Velveteen Dream criticizing, Seth Rollins going over, and that this guy gets all the shots and is Triple H's boy and still can never get over, and that he's a gimmick thief. He's saying that the whole entrance and the androgynous thing is fucking, stolen from Velveteen Dream to some degree. And I'm sure he feels a certain way about it and sees some of his ideas that he pitched being used on TV, right? So I don't know the ins and outs of that, but he also goes to bury the Beast Slayer, the King Slayer, Seth freaking Rollins, the Architect, the Messiah. All of these things are bullshit and things that did not get over. And I wrote, allegedly, so many fucking things to really take that Messiah character to another level and get the most out of it during COVID times. And the USA president allegedly would pitch that, and they didn't know how to execute. You'd get, if you really want to talk about, I wrote something at 100% and they executed it 10%. It was that shit, bro. Pages and pages that we put out there. And this is because Triple H, for some reason, when he was in charge of NXT, Seth used his knowledge like Gargano and fucking Ciampa have to get close to Game and Sean and be in the in crowd. And Becky Lynch is just now learning how to deliver a monologue without doing catch breaths, sticking her tongue out or going over. Somebody said she stayed in character through the whole scrum. I tip my hat to you. However, this is your 10th fucking year in WWE and you're just getting it. Seth Rollins been here since 2012 and he's going, I'm the future. You're the future. You've been here for 13 fucking years and every single thing that they've tried to put on you has shit the bed. So why, until we get to this Elton John sing-along, and even that shouldn't be used right now. Now he's wearing a Mr. T chain and half a Joker suit. Like none of it hits with anybody at home. It's still missing, and nobody wants, even the fucking, hey, being a metrosexual with a man bun was cool for 3 years. We're still sticking to that shit, which shows they don't understand what it is to be cool. And I've said that about Game for years. No one gave a shit about Motorhead and Lemmy. Nobody believed you were a biker, that you came down on a tricycle, these 25-minute opening self-egregious promos. And then who do we have opening the show the last 3 weeks? The exact same way. Do they look good? Do they know how to wrestle? Absolutely. But when it comes to connection or having the cool part in your heart, Those guys are missing it. And for some reason, Game keeps putting all the chips on this fucking dude who is not going to deliver. He's not going to go. You're not going to go, oh, well, Yeet has the belt and ratings are at an all-time low, so give it to Seth and we're going to double ratings. Nope. The trend will continue even further. Not one of those things that Velveteen Dream mentioned, Beast Slayer, King Slayer, that was all force-fed to the audience, and not one of them got over, bro. But we're going to keep continuing. Now he's got the power. Oh, great. Great. Well, I can't wait for a 20-minute monologue about what? Nothing. And when a guy like that has the power, what is he going to do with it?
So it's funny when you lay it out here side by side, the parallels between the Triple H career and the Seth Rollins career, but they're almost mirror each other. Except Triple H had DX, the one time that he was actually really over.
And Seth hasn't had that wasn't them.
And that wasn't Triple H. That was the Outlaws. Road Dogg.
Yeah,
it was X-Pac.
All these guys know how to
everybody else.
Yeah, all like I said, his game and awesome worker, absolutely. Looks like $1 million, has his legacy. But some guys are missing.
We're just way to the top of the company, literally.
Some guys are missing the cool part in their DNA. Or they think they're cool, and the things that they're into that they think, I'm going to get this over. Get Lemmy. Nobody gives a fuck about Lemmy, dude. It's not cool. And nothing about Seth's persona is cool where people are like, and here's the thing, will he be a legend? You say Brock Lesnar, people know, like, let's do the mall test. If you were to go to the mall and say Brock Lesnar, 99 out of 100 are going to know it.
It's been a hot minute since Hameen's brought up the mall, but I'm going to mark the date and the time down here.
You go and say Hulk Hogan, they know. You go say John Cena, they know. If you were to go ask who the fuck Seth Rollins is, nobody except extreme wrestling nerds know. There's no impact on the world. There's no, he's our ambassador. He transcends wrestling because of his charisma. And I don't know, maybe Triple H just sees himself in it, but it's a miss. And to have this guy go over, he don't need it. Him not going over would have been more, because if LA Knight did go over anybody, Penta, now you got a target that he can focus on. He's supposed to be a heel. So he needs an id of being scorned for revenge. He just won. Now he's going over. And when he goes over, there'll be no heater that he has to be, because he's the heater. So he's going to take it off of Yeet because he went in politic to Triple H going, hey man, lowest ratings in Netflix ever. Fucking this guy can't carry it, dude. Let me, I'm proven, bro. They like, well, they sing his theme song when he comes out. They sing my theme song too, right, man. Like that's where we're at with this shit behind the scenes, but fans don't know or understand the inside coy politics to do that.
I get your behind the scenes stuff. To me, storyline though, it makes sense with him, and it allows them to back off with him a little bit, so he's not.
How does it make sense to him now that he's got the case and can go over whenever he wants? Okay. Here's why he's
the slime ball that would, if I can, real quick, just he's the slime ball that should be the ultimate opportunity, looking for that opportunity to take the low road, to grab it when he wants. So now with it, he can lay off and just be a snake in the grass. He doesn't have to be so forceful, demanding, pushing to get that opportunity, that shot. He can take it when he wants now. That is the slime ball that he is, the easy way. And from a creative standpoint, we don't need as much of him now. Let him fade away. And that's Seth playing those mind games. You don't know when I'm going to strike. It makes sense inside with what he is right now. Or what he's always.
I just don't see myself tuning in week to week going, when is Seth going to strike like anybody wants? And I see what you're saying. Here's my rebooking of it. You got Seth with the two big fucking muscle dummies out there, right? Then here comes Jacob Fatu, who's over,
and Mateo, which was
So now you clear the way with those guys, and Seth is by himself. Those guys all need to fuck off, because that's the feud going forward, is the Samoans and Seth's crew. And
that was a pop moment to see those big old dogs in there looking at each other. I want to see them throw down.
And that's the business. That's what we're doing. So why do you get to do the business of that and win? Nope. We told the story of the business going forward. Now those guys peel off, and it's Seth by himself. Only a baby face should be winning that by himself. The fact that he's there without his bump dummies leaves him open and has to have him on a 1-to-1 level with no power. Because now what does he need? If he could have just won by himself, why has he got a crew? So
and what took so long for those crews to get there? Why did we have 20 minutes of a match?
Right.
But hey, this is why you have these creative meetings. You've already sold me on this.
Yeah, the fact that he's by himself, he should
those
not
damn
have won.
Samoans. It wasn't Roman, but those damn Samoans keep throwing him.
Yeah, like they're the ones that fucking they're the ones that keep being the barricade in front of them. You know what I mean? Even if it's them peeling off, it makes it anybody else but Seth has an opportunity now that his muscle is gone. Instead, his muscle got taken out or equalized, and he still won. That's not the right way to do things, bro. Like if they were there and clean house and fucking paved the way for him to walk up gently and be like, haha, got it, because I got the toughest crew, then that's a heel win. Nope. So here we are with Triple H at the helm again.
I think
not doing the right
question,
business.
The biggest question with the men's Money in the Bank is last Monday, the entire theme was the babies, Sami Zayn and CM Punk agreeing we have to do everything possible to stop this. Where the hell were they at during this entire thing?
Exactly. Or the fact that it looks
they
like
get maced or get caught up in traffic or something on the way to the arena to stop this?
It's just that Game and Seth went, yeah, dude, you're over. You got it. And we'll just do that, you know. And once you win it, they'll be into it. Like, nope, that's not the storyline, bro. Like, that is not the way you go up the mountain, base camp 1, 2, and 3. Like, you get there and you almost see it. And then somebody, even a Sammy, comes in and pushes the ladder over. Oh, boom. Sammy wakes up the baby face, gets him in there after X amount is gone. And then Seth comes back and the baby face does something on Seth to take him out again and win. But there needed to be that moment where like Seth is just going to trot up and it's going to be so easy. And then he gets the, no, Sammy, don't do it. And here's the other thing too, with these Money in the Bank shits. I get it. Though the ladders are spectacle and we want to do spots, but I hate the fact that it's turned into nothing more than a erector set where you set up ladders to get your shit in on
each other to do like the side pieces. Why do we even have ladders that don't even reach the case
for weapons? Don't try this at home, but try this at home. Go out and put a 16-foot ladder in your backyard. Climb up to about 2 rungs from the top, and then have your kid push it over, and you fucking see how it feels to fall to the ground. It's terrifying just to like go up to that height and look down and do it. That's all you need. Nobody needs to set up this shit and do fucking Tinker Toys, or it looks like the old game Mousetrap where this goes into that thing and then it triggers that thing, and this booking that killed what it is, and we're just waiting for spots. The ladder and the fall are dangerous enough. Just put that over. I don't need all this extra fucking bullshit. And now it becomes a spot fest, and the reality of how dangerous it is isn't anything. And I'm just waiting for somebody to fall on a ladder that's doctored so it can bend and look phony. Like, nope. All you got to do is tilt it and hit the top rope, or fucking backwards and you go through a table. Like, anything more than that is egregious and hurting the actual reality of the violence of what the match is. In a ladder match, there's 3 things that hate you. 4, your opponent, the ring, gravity, and the ladder. Like, I don't need the rest of it, bro. And now it's gotten to this level of just like, well, you fucking try and, bring me up, and then I'll run up the ladder while he holds it, and I'll fucking tip over, only while Penta's sitting there waiting for 2 minutes for this shit to go on to get there. Give him one headbutt, dude. Ick.
I do want to give a shout out for my personal pop, because we regularly talk about the business of the business here in the Monday Locker Room and sponsorship.
Deuce the Erection Set Wrestling. Write that down.
Awesome. Hey, even had McAfee was playing with one of those erector sets there, because we had commercials within commercials within commercials. My biggest pop was the Fireball ladder, the product placement that we had here.
Yeah. That worked good. I thought it was smart. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. We should have had a hardcore guy, a Mick Foley guy. And if I got the Fireball ladder, what am I going to do? What haven't we done?
Need a fireball, man. You gotta ignite the night.
Flaming ladders. Like that should have had like flash
Sounds
paper
like an
on
80s rock band.
Yeah. Like should have had flash paper or something on it whenever they're crawling, and LA Knight fucking reaches down, lights it, and up flames go up the fucking side. Both guys jump off, and that clears the way for him to go up. Like just a little industrial light and magic. That's all we need. But instead, minimal effort, maximum fucking profits are more important, you know?
Ben, I know you had some good takes on this one. Let's go ahead and jump to the end of the show. Got everybody talking. Was it a work? Was it a shoot? Did they get us? Was this the plot all along? The return of R-Truth during the main event, the big time tag match with John Cena, Logan Paul taking on Cody, and the previous mention there, Jey Uso.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'd say a toe-to-so, but fucking a toe-to-so. Everyone, even online, you know, I waited on Russo brand. People like, is it a work? Is it a work? He's fired. And I go, I think it is. And for the right reasons, because he's a beloved character and people will go crazy. However, mismanagement again. The match should have been Saturday night main event. If you lose, you're fired. And that would have given Hope Spot that you know, Ron Cena could have ended John Cena's reign of terror early, even though we knew he would have won, right? And we know that terrible feeling is coming that, you know, he's fired at the end of the match. They didn't book any of that. Instead, they fired him 4 days later. And people are going, see, it was a work. It wasn't. I don't know. Is it the crowd that said in the uproar of how dare you take away our childhood? And this guy is a great comedy spot and he was just in the main event and it's so stupid to fire him that they buckle under the pressure? Or were they working everybody and he was never fired? There's conflicting reports and who knows, and that could be R-Truth's, you know, MO to keep it confused because he's a consummate professional, whether he's playing an absurd reality with wordplay or actually doing what needs to be done in the moment of the scene. However, I believe that, you know, not that I believe, I would, my guess would be that he was released because they're trying to clear the boards. Because if he gets to come back, where was Carlito and Sarah Logan?
That's another thing. How do you feel if you're one of the people that really were fired? Like, wait a minute, were they working me? Like, is a new deal coming in the mail or something? Or
but then that is smart too, to be like, include him in the ones that are really fired, so the work seems real, even though we're going to keep him. Okay, I'm down with that postulate too. However, to bring him back after the week of people going nuts, is it completely the wrong timing? It should have been John Cena.
That's the problem. The
yes,
shotgun booking.
Yes, that's where I go, how fucking stupid are you people, bro? He should have been fired, or the appearance of being fired, and then Cena gets that heat. And then who else can Cena take out of the equation on the way to December? And in December, when it's the moment when he's about to fucking put the final dagger in the heart of wrestling, here comes the cavalry. And even it could have been Stone Cold gets taken out. Could have been whatever other legend. And then the third one, rule of threes, out of nowhere, out of the crowd, is fucking Truth. And he's the one, after John ripped our hearts out 6 months ago, that fucking puts the heartbeat back into the people. Just when you think the final death blow is coming, the actual heart that represents the fans, R-Truth, is the one that saves
better than
wrestling.
Actually a guy that the people loved. No,
and they put the belt on
the new people's champion.
So to shotgun it in a week, things like that hurt my stomach, bro.
Well, that'd be like killing Batman in one scene, and then the next one he shows right back up.
Yeah. And then the other part of that too is, it's interesting. Power to the people. Yeah. People power, Ace. Is that if he really was fired and it was the outcry and he put out no work, you know what I mean? But as a worker, that's everybody working. You know, like if it was that people were irate and fucking, I read that R-Truth faved all calls until Nick Khan called him to redo his deal. The guy's a 25-year pro. He knows how to work the office. He's seen people come and go 10 times over. All you got to do is let it build, and then they want him back. I'd like to believe that's the way it went. And if that is truth, then what does that say for anybody else who's been fired? That the crowd, like I wrote, and some people were like, this is a fucking stupid take from a Mark. I didn't say take over the show. I said if they were fans, they would take over the show tonight with chants. Fucking, they'd turn their back on matches. They'd have obscene signs. And even if you were serious, you'd threaten to cancel Netflix with a Twitter campaign. That will bring R-Truth back. So people are like, oh, this is the stupidest thing. Like, I'm trying to tell you how to empower your audience. How do I know this? I was an ECW mega fanatic, and we'd fucking hijack shows all the time and get guys over or stop whatever performance they had. And that performer, like a Bully Ray or someone along those lines, would have to go in the moment and actually respond.
ECW knew how to fuel that fire. They knew how to get the fans to buy in, so you become more passionate about it. Like you're saying, WWE could actually start, light that fuse, but let the fans explode with it to take this time. Over to chat.
I would love to see. I mean, even though he's in a high level thing, just the fun. Again, this is just came into my head. R-Truth and Iguana Man. R-Truth could get Iguana Man over like that, bro. Like at the fucking highest level with one scene that's comedic based. You know what I mean? Like all that kind of shit, dude.
That was funny. There, the show Jargo said that was first thing he said to me. He's like, on the indie somewhere, please give me Iguana Man in either R-Truth or the Boogeyman in some kind of.
Sure. Can you imagine just those guys in the back with popcorn doing tape review, but like playing it straight in their own characters, and you get to see them, reacting to things like those are super characters that don't have to do next to anything.
You would finally get over one of those stupid things where they're just sitting backstage staring at the TV.
Yeah.
Which no one could see on camera. I have a television right in front of me, so that's what I was looking at there. But
and the Blue Meanie, I'd like to have him in that scene too.
You just have him pop up, at least out of the corner there, like
Meanie,
just have him occasionally popping up.
But when I wrote that on, and I hate to keep going on Twitter, I fucking hate when people reference that shit. That's what I mean by the power that the fans you claim you are have. If you want to, it's Henry David Thoreau, civil disobedience, except I'm applying it in a very wrestling goofy ass way. Okay. So all of that is there, but the fucking armchair quarterbacks who don't understand how to do business the right way for maximum value.
And that's business across the board, just not professional wrestling.
Yeah.
You empower your consumer.
I'm a successful drug dealer. What do you want?
The most successful one I know. You're the only one I will associate with now, publicly. Ben, anything else from Money in the Bank that you want to touch on? I know we got the women's. Any thoughts?
I mean, with Naomi, match? I thought that was a good win for her because that does play into a storyline. So now you have EST win the belt from who's women's champ? You
got either Io, she can get Io or Titty Time.
Yeah. Have her beat Io, baby. So we keep them both baby face and and that's when Naomi comes to cash in right on the heels of a banger match between those two where they both are kind of worn out and Io even raises her hand out from under the ring, bang with the fucking case behind, bang on Io, take her out. You know what I mean? Heat with the case or whatever it is. Choke her with her own hair till her fucking, she looks like Jabba the Hutt with a tongue hanging out the side and pin her. Like she gets nothing. She gets nothing on her. Now you have a heel champion and you just fucking put it on EST and took it away that fast. And you're not hurting Io that way because of the babyface stuff. Then we can have a triple threat if we want. You know what I mean? Because that feud, belts are for guys who can't get over with character. A blood feud draws more money. You can have a triple threat, and EST costs Naomi, and Io, you put the belt right back on Io. And this hot feud, even though we've hot potatoed the belt around between those three, that's fine because they're costing each other something. And it's more about you were my best friend and now I hate you. And what won't I do to see you unhappy? And in that respect, the title personifies their friendship and what it was. It can go back to Io and the blood feud can continue because neither of them will need a belt because the hatred is so palpable.
Hey, you also have, which we did get, I know it was hard to retain anything from Friday, but we did get the announcement on SmackDown, the return of the King and the Queen of the Rings, where the winners of each of those will get an opportunity for a championship at SummerSlam. Jade Cargill, the first women's name into that. Maybe she gets into that title hunt. She gets one of those championships.
Yeah, that's smart too. That's
You
smart
could have
too.
Bianca with one, Jade with the other, and who's in the middle with that case is Naomi. With that, if you talk about that triangle of everything going
See,
on.
I didn't know that, so you smartened me up. So yeah, that's a good wild card to play before you
Oh,
go.
baby.
Yeah, but I think Naomi was the right choice in that match.
And again, Lamrat mentioning maybe Naomi loses. No woman has ever lost the cash in. So, I mean, that could also, lend to
I wouldn't do that here.
Her ascent in the madness, though.
Yeah, it could, but the heat of taking it away from the audience is sells more tickets than watching a heel lose and get more hardcore. You know what I mean?
The loss goes well with a baby face because now they have to grow and build back up.
Yeah.
And they've learned a lesson.
Yeah, the other thing too, and again, this goes back to the erection set of fucking setting up chairs, and I get it that the Vakir chick is over because she does the caterpillar,
the devil's kiss.
Coochie on the head.
Even MSG was popping for that one the first time he had seen it.
Sure. Yeah, but it really comes down to what? Like, what are we doing and what sells? Does sex sell? Yeah, absolutely. And are those chicks sexy? Sure. But now we're doing sexy spot when we're pretending to be badass wrestlers, but I gotta wait and get my shit in, and now I'm gonna double get our shit in on a ladder because you haven't seen that before. And how many times can we do that constantly? Do we have to go away from it? They're really pimping it out into a one-trick pony because Booker T likes to look at fucking Latin ass up close and chicks.
Well, revamp saying Stephanie Vakir is a great wrestler, Ben, not just looks. Well, what's getting her over right now? That's what Ben's whole point is here. Yeah. It's not that she's some technical masterpiece in the ring. What's getting over is that devil's kiss and her ring gear tickling her tonsils because it's so far up her asshole.
Yeah, and that's it. And if that's what we're selling, then fine, sell that. But don't put it over to me like the greatest women's wrestler who's worshiping Satan on the way to the ring, but I can't wait till she does the inverted fucking 69 spot or whatever the fuck we're doing because Booker T says shucky ducky and fucking wow, you know what I mean? I saw a girl's fucking pussy lips. Like, okay, good. I'm down for all the egregious crotch shots we can get, but don't act like I'm supposed to go, this is wrestling. This is psychology when we've got it doing tandem after we set up ladders to do a weird get into this spot just so we can get it over. And it's just like, is the visual there for a YouTube highlight? Absolutely. And that's what they're going for as opposed to serving the character, serving the scene. I mean, for where it was and what it was, I would have booked that in there too. I just want to point out that that's a one-trick pony show. And you're only going to get so much out of it.
Yeah. I mean, she can absolutely go. Tremendous talent. But right now it is. You're tuning in. The average viewer's tuning in.
Is she a tremendous talent? Is she
She's good? She's pretty damn good. Technically in there. But, and again, we have no character with her. We don't know
that would say, if you have no character, my label of tremendous talent may be different from yours. If you can't.
Well, I'm saying technically, but we don't know anything else about her. She is getting better with her English, but that is going to be an issue there. But there's ways to get around that. You can play into it. But right now, she is just I'm a workhorse and devil's kiss.
Okay.
Right. But we need more. You're going to need more.
Then when you get workhorsed out and your knee gets blown out and they fucking go, get me another girl with ass and fucking camel toe. And like, then what are you? You better hope Satan comes back to help.
They can ride that, no pun intended, to SummerSlam because the sexual deviants are already popping like crazy with the two looks of Vakir and Rhea Ripley. If they can get those two hooked up at SummerSlam sometime.
Some girl should be anti-sexy and be like, she farted on my head, so you can fucking make an ass of yourself and have the crowd going, you got farted on or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Or have somebody who like thinks that move is stupid and you recut the highlight reel and put farts in every time she does it and fucking take away her sexy like that. How do you battle these things, right? Like make it goofy, make a little less out of it. Fart jokes are always funny. Vince would love that. Fucking there's a lot you could do to, I don't know, ribbit it a little bit and keep her in the spotlight, because all the fucking Santeria and Satan horns in the world ain't gonna get me interested to be like, ooh, another girl playing goth. I've never seen that before. Wow.
It's good stuff. One of the headlines that I saw out there that caught my attention was Frito Scoops William Isaiah shared that with us this morning. I believe it was from him. I saw it over in the group. But it looks like the Warner Brothers Discovery is announcing a split in the company. Half of it's going to be the streaming distribution part, and then the other is going to focus more on the traditional television. What's a big of note in there, the current head of the networks, he's going to head on over to the streaming side, while they've announced the new CFO over for the television seems to be more of a cost cutter. He's in there for cutting throats and seeing where he can save money. Any potential
the other part
concerns
of this
for AEW?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. But let me talk on the business side. The former CEO is putting himself on the streaming side. How much what's the difference between the live TV side and the streaming side?
Mega difference there. I mean, it's a whole different structure.
Number one is cost.
Advertising. Right? Yeah.
Streaming is evergreen. They're putting on shows that are already out there. There's no production cost. There's no new development cost. So that side is going to make profit with very little overhead. And you're the former CEO of the whole thing. So you're going to put yourself on the side that is surefire to make money, even if it's $1. The other side lost the NBA. The other side fucking is probably going to run Andy Griffith reruns because they got the spot too, and Seinfeld to the end of time. If he's cost cutting, does that spell danger for AEW? How much money are they investing in that in a weekly basis? Even though wrestling, compared to other shows that are taped, have a lower cost analysis, doesn't mean that they're not trying to get rid of everything, because NBA made them a lot of money and that's fucking gone. So will we go back to TBS and
old Mayberry, baby. Mayberry in the mornings.
Yeah, Andy, the whole body's a weapon. Fucking that's that like, is Don Knotts coming back to rule them all? And you're gonna put a new CFO in there, which means he's gonna be a heater. He doesn't have to have people who like him. We gotta cut costs and we gotta get this thing back on track with fucking Seinfeld and what's the nerd show? Fucking Big Bang. Big Bang reruns, because we're not spending money on new shows. So that's a little scary. However, AEW is on both platforms. So there may be some go ask your mother, go ask your father stuff going on here soon. You know what I mean? Can Will Ospreay stay the night? Go ask your mother. Whatever it is. So one CEO is leaving to go take the cushy job that knows will be in the black when the fucking time comes to check the ledgers at the end of the year. And the other guy is going to be the heater who cuts a bunch of shit and doesn't have anybody except maybe 2 or 3 people that he brings with him, like his own Nick Khan, his own Iceman, to fucking make the call. Hey, we're not renewing your contract and da-da-da-da. Or we need to renegotiate the price on this and up sales on or find new advertisers. You know what I mean? If they're not paying the premium price. So, and to do that, you need shows with big numbers, and a Seinfeld and a Big Bang still draw those numbers more than AEW does. And they don't cost you next to nothing in residuals to fucking put things out there that they already own the library to. So it'll be very interesting, especially since the time of conglomeration when AOL and Time Warner, and then Time Warner Brothers, or, and Discovery. And then, we made this whole thing to get around taxes and fucking keep it going. Now this split will also be some type of business move on a ledger. It really has nothing to do with the fans, the people at home, the entertainment. And to give up the NBA,
I did
Like,
see for their sports thing though. I don't know what the impact. A huge loss there with the NBA, but I can't remember if I read it was with Fox or with ESPN. But they have struck a deal with college football for subleasing some games to run through TBS and TNT now.
I think if you're in the South, that's smart. I think like trying to have on, anything except the SEC is going to be tough. But if you can get
it might have been with the Big Ten, which is a big draw.
Okay. If you can get like Alabama exclusively or something like that, then maybe. But to me, that's only a third of your year. So what are you going to do the other 2/3? And it's
also with that, you're only subleasing, so it's most likely like if it's the Big Ten, like they have strategically Ohio State. Like 90% of their games are at noon, so they can own that market. You're not going to get that one. You're going to end up getting like the Purdue's and the Marylands of the world, or if it's SEC, like the Kentuckies.
Can you get FanDuel and DraftKings? That's where like an exclusive, something like that. If I was in that spot and getting that, okay, how do we get with FanDuel to be the TBS on every game that's on TBS? You get a $20 bet, no fucking call, right? Some incentive to do that and get FanDuel over, so there's opportunity with that in the sports betting world for sure.
A little bit of no tie into wrestling.
And hey, Deuce, get me the Big Ten. Yeah, that's the Bobby Lashley one. That's right. Big Ten. Sorry, go ahead.
So, I mean, we talk about there because it has been announced that WWE has signed a deal with the Big 12. That they're big,
give me the Omos. Yeah. He said he wants all 12.
They're going to run a number of SmackDowns around or on the campuses of the Big 12 highlight games of the weeks to kind of tie those in.
That'll be good for McAfee. Hopefully they can get him to hype them up. But and if they're going back to 2 hours, bro, but the SmackDown before a pay-per-view, they're doing shitty 6s and people are cutting lackluster.
It was rough this past week.
I'm done. I'm like, I cannot sit here.
Your average WWE ticket right now is between like $225, $250 for anything television wise.
Oh, well, college kids got a lot of money.
How freaking pissed are you if you got that show in Bakersfield last Friday?
Yeah. Well, what's coming to Bakersfield?
Hey, the hell with the LA riots. I would have been riding up there in Bakersfield if I dropped $250 a ticket to go watch that garbage.
The titty time riots.
Titty time riots.
Yeah.
What am I? All right. I'll go to a pay grade higher than I am. I've been screaming about this on the Smack Tag everywhere I go. Well, maybe you can enlighten me here. You guys are sure I'm talked about it. Why am I supposed to like her? What is up with that character?
Yeah, no, I don't get it
outside
either.
of two big titties. What is there? She is a valley girl that just like Mean Girls, I want to see get hit by a bus.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing of like, who really does like her? No, nobody. You're not like, I'm into her. That's the force feed Pavlovian. There's nothing likable about her character. A 25-year-old with fucking mad lip fillers and face injections makes me go, this girl has some deep rooted issues, and here we are, because why? She was with Nia as a heel, as a kick around, and because she turned on her, she's baby. However, none of the shit she does is babyface. So in their mind, well, she turned on the heel, so she's baby, but we'll let her do all the heel shit still, and people will like her. Nope. Not getting over, not because she does. And really, a moonsault is a babyface fucking move, because it's athletic, it's impressive, and heels shouldn't be doing them. That's why Jacob Fatu's over. And really, I wouldn't even have El Grande Americano doing it, because it's too like, wow. And a heel's offense should not be wow. That's the baby face. Is she hot? Is she hot? And people want to bang her? Yeah. But like at the same time, all that fucking, and maybe this is just me being out of the loop and I don't really want to be in on it. Like maybe these are the archetypes from, Fuck Island or whatever these shows are that they got on TV, where it's shallow 20 somethings and they're trying to bang the other ones, like, but we're not getting any of that. Where is Ludwig, bro? That where's Kaiser, bro? Like if they're together and people are referencing it, Charlotte is in promos, wouldn't we want to mix that in? Or they just want to be like, no, don't let them know they have a boyfriend so everyone can imagine they could bang her too. No, dude, like,
or you want to get heat on him? He should got there covering her up with the old towel.
Exactly. exactly. All that kind of shit. Dude,
Well, I mean,
right?
hell, that was exactly what Russo booked with Marrows.
With Mark Marrow, exactly. So, yeah, man. Again, people who are supposed to be baby faces doing heel shit. Fucking, they're doing the intro of the Man and Lyra Velcro. Lyra Velcro jump starts the match and fucking Pearl Harbor jobs Becky Lynch from behind, and she's the baby. I go, right there, I'm done. I'm done with this match. I don't care what happens. The first thing that you did was stupid as shit and showed me you don't understand who you're supposed to be. The spot is fine. You do it the exact opposite way. Becky is going over. Becky is the heel. So guess how I want to start my match? Heat, not babyface heat, because there's no such thing. And this is supposed to be the man. The man knows wrestling. Well, apparently not, because you just got fucking jumped from behind by the babyface. And boy, those baby faces with the sneak attack, nothing says good guy. Like, I'm going to fucking hit you from behind. Yeah. When I see things like that, I don't know if fans at home, maybe HMG and Russo brand and K100 brand listeners see it and understand that. But as soon as I see that stuff, I'm checked out. I'm checked out instantly. I go, these are amateurs who who claim to be professionals because they're in the bubble and everyone's got them gassed up. But if the very first thing you do, like if I was sitting next to Al Snow, I remember even fucking, I've told this story once or twice. Demolition was on a show for doing a signing. I'm sitting there right next to fucking Repo Man, right? And we're watching the match and it starts, and then like basic chain, and then the guys go into biz for themselves, and the baby starts healing out on the fucking heel. We just looked at each other like this, shook our heads, and fucking walked away from the curtain. There was nothing to say. There was nothing, because when first we started out like, oh, okay, he's shining them, baby's out wrestling them, good. Heel gets his heat spot. 2 seconds after the heat spot, the baby bows up, makes his own comeback, and beats the fuck out of him. Okay, you're stupid. And on the indies, that's fine, because guys might not know. They're just emulating what they might have seen on TV. Well, that's the problem.
They see it on television, it trickles down, and then the people on the indies think that's right.
Yeah, and they're wrong.
I've heard that. I have heard that so many times where I'll try to explain something, even that I could see, like, you guys are doing this backwards. That's not right. You know, the baby shouldn't be acting like the asshole. And they're like, I saw it on television 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what you don't see on television 2 weeks ago? Selling. That's what a baby face does after the heat. You need to sell. Instead, I just saw a fucking off the ropes from Braun Breaker, super kick from Jay, dead cell. Fucking right away, Jacob Fatu's right back up 3 seconds, or excuse me, Braun Breaker 3 seconds later, fucking getting heat on him, bro. You know, that's not how it should go. It should be off the ropes, go for the kick, duck one, come back, fucking spear. Jey Uso is now down for 5 minutes just taking heat because Braun's coming back up to get on him again. So why does Jey need to get his super kick in? Rip Rogers 101. The threat of violence is just as important as the violence itself. That means off the ropes. Here comes the super. Duck one, that's the threat of violence, the threat of the super kick, and he missed it. Off, boom, heat, on him. Jey doesn't have to get his shit in to have the heel drop to the ground, because now when he comes back up, he just buried Jay's shit, and the super kick means nothing. However, in the fucking people's mind, when they see you load one up and it fucking misses, oh, if he would have got him with that super, it would have been over right there. Instead, you pimped it out, and now it means fuck all, bro. But then you go to the back and go, hey, Sean, how was my match? It was the shits, my guy. That's how it was. But these are the top
5 stars from one of the 5 guys. One of the 5 guys.
One of the 5 guys that get it. One of the
5 guys.
And here's the other thing: the 5 guys that allegedly get it wouldn't have named Braun Breaker. That further shows me that you're a fucking idiot when you have Cody Rhodes legacy, when you have fucking Randy Orton legacy, when you even had Mr. Perfect, you named his kid something else, dude. And they can put it over. Well, I was in football.
They named him 3 different things before they ever
stupid,
and they never gave him his fucking his dues.
And that's probably backstage politics and a rib on Steiner Brothers but they'll sell it as he chose his name and it was from his football days. Why are you letting a 22-year-old kid fucking decide the marketing? You're an idiot if you do that. The money is there. The model is there. If you're a Nepo baby who fucking comes from a family, Uso's got the name Usos.
It's not like we pay people multi-millions of dollars to run our marketing department. We're going to ask this kid, this 22-year-old, the direction that we should be going in.
It's asinine, bro. Things like that just are like, whoever allows that, you're gone.
You mean it's part of your hiring process? Hey, congratulations to the new kid across the table. All right, here's your first job. I need a whole marketing plan for next month.
Yeah. And I'm surprised, and maybe it's because of this, because Steiner, a very German-based name, and you could have had all the German fonts, all the fucking crosses and shit that Triple H had, you know, and actually gotten that over, bro. And the guy's fucking super jacked. The big Papa Pump stuff. Instead, who gets to use that? Jordan Grace. Okay. Okay. Like just millions upon millions of dollars pissed down the fucking, you know, the shitter, bro, just because they do not care or understand how to do things properly. And I don't know how you understand how to do it properly here, but over here you completely blow it out your ass. To me, that means there's some old school heat in the middle that influences that decision. And they don't let the kid know that. They just fucking gas him up of like, yeah, Braun Breaker's the name, bro. It's going to be, that's as stupid an 80s wrestling.
You're going to be bigger than Steiner. You're the next level. It's all about you.
I would rather be on the fucking Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes path using the legacy and the bumps that my dad and my uncle took in order to get there, because that's the foundation of what it is. Now, well, I made it on my own. Well, that was stupid, because you could have made it farther and fucking added 3 or 4 more years to your career by having your dad and your uncle in your corner. But I mean, I don't know the guy. I'm not trying to bag on him as a human or anything like that. And when you're young, you do what the fuck they tell you over there.
Happy to be there.
But that is just those are the dumbest decisions I think I can fucking point out and that was under Vince's regime. I can't put the heat on Game. Like, I just don't understand how that happens.
Oh, in NXT, I mean, Vince should have stepped in at some point, but that came through Sean and H when they had NXT.
Yeah. So that then I guess it is on them. Heat on them too.
It's on them. Heat on everybody.
Yeah, man.
Heat for everybody. Ben, anything else in the headlines you want to hit here on this beautiful Monday afternoon?
Yeah, there was some little girl, Nixon or something like that.
Yeah, we were talking about that. You know, the bookings. It's tough. It's tough out there, man.
It is in the UK with no, you know, big established regional indies, and NXT UK is gone. So that to me leaves opportunity for promoters to capitalize. But this is a young girl with, you know, every color hair.
Well, it kind of goes back to drinking the Kool-Aid. You know, she thought just having that WWE stamp of approval people were just going to be lining up to get her booked on these shows. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, I can't remember who it was, but she was just in an interview
or something is her name.
Yeah. She was in WWE UK, and now she's been released. She's not with the company anymore. Just saying it's a little difficult finding wrestling bookings out there.
Yeah, everyone said it was her knee, and you know, she said that was 2019 and I'm ready to go. And you could say the same thing about Dakota Kai, and you can dye your hair every Skittles color of the rainbow if you want, but none of that, unless you have a character, unless you know business, unless you get over, is going to put you in a position to be a star, no matter how many indies there are in UK or there isn't. You're finding out the hard way that you need to learn about, how do I have a product? How do I have something of my own brand? How do I become a brand ambassador and use wrestling in order to sell this? Well, I don't care. Maybe it's hair dye. Maybe you get your own. If you got fucking 6 different colors in your hair, that's what you're into. Or you're into the pronoun crew. So what appeals to them?
Can we run with it?
Yeah. But instead she's like, oh, there's no indie bookings over here. And like you said, you thought you were going to get knighted because you were WWE and you know how to do a fucking moonsault. Well, congratulations. Like that and a fucking a quarter will get you a cup of coffee. Maybe not.
You know, I've been recently, you know, when I talk with some of these indie talents, and it's the old trope that you hear from them all, know your value. know your worth. What the hell does that mean? And most of them can't answer it. You know,
No.
well, hey, I worked a show last month where the Hardys were on there. That's great. And it was packed. That's great. There's people bought a ticket to see the Hardys. No one remembers you from it. Why the hell did you double your booking fee right now? What are you doing for the promoter to put asses in our seats?
That's what they mean. That's what these indie goofs mean. And when they say know your worth and they want to sound like veterans, that means they worked for free or for $20 for their first 4 years, which everybody does. And then once you wanted 100 and the promoter goes, I just don't have that, Briz. I can pay you 40. Then you're like, I'm not working for him. I know my worth. I'm worth 100. If you fucking knew what your worth was, you would actually know how to market yourself. You would have a gimmick or something that you're selling at the merch table that relates to the fan base, that they want to wear your foam finger, they want to wear your iguana, or they want you to slap them across the fucking face to be internet famous for $5. And that's what translates. And now it doesn't matter if you got $40 or $100 from the fucking promoter. No, because you just made $450 at the fucking table doing signings, selling your merch, whatever it is. But these little tropes that they want to make them think that sounds like I'm a veteran, I know my work. I get $100. That guy gets 20 and has to stay around for ring crew. I'm in the main event. Well, if you're in the main event with the Hardys, what did you do to do your gimmick and have one of the Hardys sell for it and get it over so you could go, hey, here's a picture of me fucking getting swantoned, you know what I mean, by him, and I can go sell that 8x10 of, yeah, you know why that guy's not worth what I am? Because I'm in the match with the Hardys and I'm going to make money off this picture for the next fucking 10 years. They don't understand their worth. They would still rather have their own 8x10 where they're holding a fucking bloody kendo stick thinking they're fucking over, as opposed to going, here's my picture with Piper. Here's my picture with Duggan. Here's my picture with Sargent.
Me eating a 2x4.
Yeah. You know, here's me getting my ass kicked by the Spirit Squad. You know why? Because, yeah, they know me and they know that I'm fucking an indie dude or what have you. But those guys were up there and that's credibility in their mind. But so they want a picture with those guys in it and they get me. And now my level's been raised and my worth has been raised because I know how to market myself and get the most out of matches that I had 5 fucking years ago that I can still make money off today.
My favorite always was, you know, when we're trying to negotiate and they come back with, well, you know, I've been on AEW Dark, so I've had to raise my sons of bitches. That's a YouTube show. More people watch me on YouTube than they watch you. Do you want to pay me to be on our show? Because I'm more over on YouTube than you are. That was my favorite comeback.
Yeah. I mean, that they don't have something that's not wrong that they're getting to that status. Did they do anything on AEW Dark to get their marketing and their shit over? Right. Nope. They just got booked to fucking job out to fucking
well, they got to go in the back and stand with the background there.
Is that Kenny Omega? Oh my. You know? Like, yeah, dude. So that's the delusion of indie workers who really don't understand business or what this business is really supposed to be about and how you make money before you're up there so you can make even more after. And for her saying that stuff, I don't want to jump on this girl's case. She's a young girl. She doesn't understand. She got way too much, way too fast, thinking it was based on her merit. And maybe she's a great worker. But really, NXT UK was only a thing because Triple H and their office wanted to take out Wide World of Sport and fucking undo the deal that they had going. And they knew they could rob that whole locker room with the WWE ID brand or whatever the fuck they did. So, and then almost all the people except for maybe Gunther and Tiffy Times guy, Kaiser Soze, every one of them, and Piper Niven, has been released. The guys that were supposed to be awesome, like, wait till you see this fucking dude. What has Pete Dunne really done to get over? Is he an awesome fucking wrestler? He can do his shit, yeah, but wearing a bear skin down to the fucking thing doesn't make you, is not going to get it.
But all those broken fingers, man.
Yeah. If I was him and he's in the bruiserweight shit and he's not that easy on the eyes and he's kind of a facha brute himself, I would lean into that. The either the ugliest man in wrestling and make shit faces, or he's completely delusional and thinks he's fucking wicked handsome and he can pull any chick possible.
Hey, don't be stealing my gimmick.
Right. And he's got that confidence, but like, just the fact that you go out there and do a finger break is very much the same thing as I'm going to put my ass on your head and smack you into the ground. Cool. I saw it 5 different ways. Now what do you got for me? Oh, I got Satan horns. Well, good.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Dude. Yeah. Or the fact that even if they didn't even get the finger break over, if you were going to do something and break somebody's finger and you wanted to get it over, what finger would you break?
The middle finger.
And then the next week on camera, I'd break his other finger. And then the guy keeps
both hands, so he's got a cast.
Like, how's your fingers? And he's just going, dude, they hurt so bad. And he's a little kid at home, somebody doing double birds on camera. You know what I mean? And as soon as the guy's fingers heal, what happens?
Knuckles.
You break him again.
Break him again. Right.
He's so excited
about
it.
I'm just thinking about how you're getting kids expelled at school now because they're going and flipping off their teacher.
And if your kid got expelled from school because he's emulating wrestling, because this is going on, and no, the rest of the kids are going to go, that's going to become a local news story. It's the same as this shit. Do we not remember 1997, little kids in middle school and shit?
No, I used to get in trouble for that.
Yeah. And why are we not this is good artists create, great artists steal, make it their own.
I actually got 3
How do we get
elementary
school kids to do crotch chops or sockets and the double bird taping your fingers up? But people are like, no, he was just showing that his fingers are broken. Now you could do a Bob Orton bit where you wear the cast for 4 fucking years and your middle fingers are broken for 4 fucking years, dude. Like these are simple things off of his phony finger break. But instead, he pretends to break your fingers and you continue the match for 5 more minutes. And then next week, when I see you again, your fingers are fine. Nope. I'm going to sell his fucking finger break to the end of time. And what if he keeps breaking guys' fingers and everybody backstage is like this because their hands are
like no one can eat catering because
you got to fucking scoop catering, all that shit, dude. Like simple, funny, easy selling. Sell the fucking move. Instead, super kick me in the face and I'm back up 3 seconds later. It don't matter.
To point at the sign.
All that shit. Yeah. You're going to WrestleMania. Fucking all that shit, dude. And it's that simple. When I say find the game and play it out, the game is him breaking people's middle fingers. Playing it out is the fact that they got to go around and then like, what if you're just walking around and people don't know, like, that motherfucker just flipped me off and now you're getting heat, but you don't know. No, game. My fingers are broken, right? Like all that kind of shit, dude. Easy. It's so easy that they can't even figure it out. So
it's all right there for you. We're giving you gold here.
Bro, this is just the fun of creative meetings. This is what I've done with Strangler Steve, who I'm excited to hopefully have on the Friday locker room this week because he was at AAA and Money in the Bank, so I want to get his.
I want to a big Lucha Libre guy who when we're talking about Conan put it over. I want to hear Strangler Steve on that, man, because he knows it.
Yeah, that absolutely, and he knows how to write full shows, do it in the ring, and produce shows for 2CW. This is the fun I would have with Adam Revolver and Ted the Trailer McNailer, and once fucking somebody would go like this in a creative meeting. Man Beast's fucking mind goes crazy and like he can come up with 10 scenarios. Revolver's like, and here's how we pay it off, right? And I just would have to show them this could be the fun little game that we have. And then it's art by committee and everybody goes home, can't sleep that night and wakes up the next day and goes, you know what I fucking thought for the middle finger bit? And we're having fun with it. And then when you see the crowd react or the crowd's taping up their fingers and doing the same thing, that easy, bro. That's how you're marketed. And then you buy a 3D printer and you fucking make these for fucking people's desk and make the Pete Dunne award.
You get the big foam finger, the
middle finger tape around it. Pete Dunne broke my fingers.
These little fingers brought to you by Ace Wrap, the official wrap of WWE.
Why not, bro? Like we've sold more Ace because of Pete Dunne and like that's marketing. That is getting yourself in a move over. Now, all we have to do is wait in the match until he breaks your finger, stomps it, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Or it's right there and he goes for it and you pull it away and then you give him one of these, a real one, and he reaches down and snaps the fucker. Like there's so many ways to heighten and explore it and come up with fun bits. But, you know, we got to open Topps cards because I got an Angel Garza with pink shimmer on it.
Yeah, you're not even getting any bubble gum in that son of a bitch.
Yeah, what do you want? I got a fucking Jay Leno right here for you. You want that one?
Scratch and sniff.
Yeah, I got about 58 Chris Benoit's in here if anybody's interested.
Ooh, man.
Dude,
show us a couple of those, Ben. Don't leave us hanging.
Oh, dude, it's kind of sad, bro. Almost everybody in this fucking deck I have is past. Miss Elizabeth. Who's better than Canyon?
Where the hell did you get these at?
Brian Adams. When I was a substitute teacher, his career might be dead. Hulk Hogan. This other guy, he went to another guy here, a history professor, went and bought a bunch of stuff at liquidation, and there were all these in there, you know. So Steve Mongo McMichaels, damn, there's a lot of dead motherfuckers in here, bro.
Dude.
Yeah. Let me see here. Who's on that one? Zabisco and Heenan. Bulldog. Dude, this is creepy, bro. Hennig. Is this the who's deck of who's dead? Holy shit. Eddie Guerrero.
And granted, everyone, these are just from the 90s as well.
Yeah, these are just 90s, but then there's plenty of others in here. I even got the whole Nitro Girls set. If you're looking for Nitro Girls, I got them. Everybody, you can get those. Shit, where'd all the Benoits go? I had a fucking bunch of them. Thought I did. Somebody come in and steal my Chris Benoits. The fucking back door's open. Wow. Shout out to Piper. Steiner, Brett. Are over there. You go. There's a good Benoit.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy Hart, he's still alive doing his thing, right? Kaz Hayashi, bro. When's the last time Kaz Hayashi's been on any show, bro?
There you go. He's on the Monday locker room.
Yeah, he's here. He's ready to fucking do it. I always like Scott Norton's shoulder breaker. I only did it once or twice in the ring with guys I could do it safely on, but I always love that as a finish. Scott Norton's shoulder breaker was one of my favorite fucking moves by far. And we'll end with the great Scott Hall delivering the Razor's Edge. Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want sports cards collectibles of dead guys, I got them. Make me an offer. Yeah, man, there's a lot of guys who've been lost over the years I see in the chat now. And welcome to the biz, Briz. You want to run hard and do pills and steroids and leave a beautiful corpse, I guess, man, you know, is what it comes down to. Or you can learn how to work and do next to nothing and hit people with a fucking Cobra and have a 30-year career. You know, it just depends on what kind of mark you are for yourself, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Here's one more crippler for you.
There we go. We got him, baby.
We got it. Yeah, we got an hour and 27 minutes. Went by in a
for part two. You got a double dose today. You got a teaser. Yeah. You got a fluffer version, and then you got the hour 27.
Maddie will be happy to have to edit those together. They might come up in two parts on
take that HR.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I'm going to get with the staff this week and revamp some things because we're moving away in the next 6 months. Channel Attitude will be coming to an end, and we'll move all of HMG over to Patreon and probably a YouTube subscription model. Maybe that'll be carte blanche on the shows or the whole thing. I know Rick was doing some marketing recon for us on that. So let us know in the Russo brand and the Hameen Media discussion group what might work best for you guys. We're open to suggestions on that and how you're consuming media and what's the easiest thing for you guys. So, and don't be a cunt when you're in there and be like, I didn't get this and this and this, because I'll just give you a THX period and you'll look like an asshole in front of everybody. So keep subscribing. And thanks for, in the ever-changing media landscape of shadow banning is the main reason why we had to even start channelattitude.com. But my main thing is don't think you're over, because nobody's over.
I do want to throw out there with that. I've been working on a Google document for those, the top dogs in the Hameen Army. If you want to reach out to me, social media at RBV Media on the Twix, or Richard Bronson Vickery on Facebook. Personally, get with me. I can send you a link to that. I'm going to just put out a mass one. But those of you that are really in tune with us, give us some good feedback. So they'll really help us about which tiers, what kind of product that you guys want to see as we make the switch. I greatly appreciate that. And coming up, if you want to play the game, I invite you, if you're in the greater Cincinnati area, coming up June 28th at Bacchus Brewery here in town. We got a free OVW show, and the pre-show is going to be hosted by yours truly for Pro Wrestling Trivia. We're going to have a bunch of great giveaways. It's a local brewery. We're going to have some great eats, all that. And then at 7 p.m., OVW is going to be in the house with a free show.
That's awesome, man. Well, that's great crossover. I love it. I love to see it. Obviously, my heart will always be with OVW. I watched a sit down with the new owner, and very kind of British and proper guy too. And it's interesting. I don't want to say anything bad about anybody because I don't know the guy by any means, but based on what I listened to and what he thinks they can capitalize on, I hope they can. He wants to make more appearance to the local people in Louisville, as well as making it a destination event, much like the Kentucky Derby and the Bourbon Country and all that when you're in there for vacation in the area, that OVW is a destination that's promoted similarly through the Louisville Chamber of Commerce. And I like that idea. However, at the same time, this is the locker room. I'm going to speak openly. Louisville knows about OVW. They've been at 4th Street Live. We've played every town. And my worry is that guys who've done well in other things, and like I say, I'm hoping for the best, don't really understand coming into the wrestling business what it is, because Al Snow is a brilliant mind, and he's been there through every regime: Danny Davis, WWE, Impact, Solo, Netflix years. The forgive me, I forget the guy who was in the Netflix show that invested. Who's got the radio show?
I can't remember names. One tip of my tongue. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
But he's still going to be involved. And now these guys are the next guys to invest. And really, since Danny Davis left, his original wrestling promoter, it's always just kind of looking for the next. How do we evolve, but be able to keep the money coming in so we can keep things going? And that usually lasts on anywhere from a 2 to 3 year run. And then it's on to the next person who thinks they can make it work, who doesn't live there, who doesn't really. Matt Jones, sorry. And Matt Jones has unlocked all the way to Lexington, Kentucky, because that's where his big sports fan base is with his radio show. And even he had a pretty tough go and a quick education on how this carny business, which is much different than other ones, you can take from other sports and entertainment businesses and put it in. But Louisville knows OVW. So if you're just trying to pull Tennessee and Indiana and Ohio people, it's going to be an interesting sleight of hand to think that that's going to up your value every week. And now they are in a lot more homes with TV and internet. So I hope that's part of it. But I'll give my honest opinion.
Got to start somewhere, though.
Yeah, but I also think that these guys are they have best intentions, but they are in for a rude awakening of how things are. And the wrestlers who've been there for 20 years and seen this guy leave, this company come through, this guy, it's just on to the next one, and they know. But that's what we have to do with Money Marks in order to keep things moving forward. I hope these guys have the knowledge to take it to another level, to maybe even have a UK tour. I don't know what level they're at, but after I heard that girl Nixon say there isn't shit of indies there, that's opportunity. That's opportunity to move, and you can take 6 OVW wrestlers, 7, take them across the pond and grab the top indie people from there, do the matches, get people interested that's their fans, come back, and maybe 2 or 3 of them come back with you to spiral that UK stuff. I hope it's things like that, because there was always people like that would come on 6-month visas to cut their teeth at OVW and then go back and take that knowledge back over there. So, I don't want to talk bad about people who are supporting OVW, I just think that dude's in for a bit of a quick education in cardiness. You know what I'm saying?
He's in for a wild job. I got that feeling, man. As soon as they see that pre-show coming up on the 28th, they're gonna be like, "Get me that guy. Get me that guy full time, baby."
Wow. Big shout out Jesse Martinez. I will subscribe to HMG. Goes as long as the Monday and Friday locker room are there. They absolutely will be. Hands down favorite podcast. Well, that's what it is, man. I'm retired. I talk that real shit, and they can keep doing what they want to do on TV. And eventually, allegedly, Netflix will reach out. And I'm even break kayfabe to some degree. There's main players on both shows, AEW and WWE, who allegedly may be reaching out on a weekly basis to bitch, complain. I'm not saying they're bitching and complaining. They're frustrated. They're frustrated with the exact things that I'm talking about, and that things aren't going the way they should. And, you know, and that's not just Russo brand. That's 2CW. That's like, I'm getting it from different, places as well, because I'd rather put out great creative. If they want to steal it, they fucking can. If they want to pay for it, they probably never will. But regardless, you guys are here on the Monday and Friday locker room, as well as all the review shows. Thanks to Let's Go Brandon and you, Rick, with all the great watch-alongs, man, to keep that community, that group going. Please interact on Facebook with us and have a good time with it. And thanks to Big Ray and Maddie for getting the shows uploaded. And if there's a RSS feed issue, let Jeff know for Channel Attitude, and we'll try and get things fixed as quickly as possible, because
I know there is an issue now, but we're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it. So but really, HMG for life, and look for Nikki Bella on Raw tonight. That's gonna be a game changer. So.
Game changer.
But y'all, it's Art of the B to the V. It's Hacker Hameen, and you know what it is here on the Monday Locker Room.
This is the Hustler Rip Rogers. Yeah, it's fucking me. Yeah, and listen to the fucking Hameen Media Group. That's Ben Hameen Media Group from Rip Rogers. Go get him and go fuck